And speaking of that, we have guys like, and I think I had a lot to do with the fact they're trying to get a little tougher, but I mention them. Again, our ability to negotiate, not just trade where everybody's ripping us. Every country in the world is ripping us off. Every country in the world. Everybody is. If you can't make money dealing with the United States, you don't have a very smart country, okay? Everybody makes money. Because the lobbyists and all of these people represent the countries and represent other people, and it's a real bad scene. And it's going to continue if you put any of these other people. It's not going to continue with me. But I always bring this up. We get a dirty, rotten, no-good traitor named Bergdahl, Sergeant Bergdahl. And they get 5 of the greatest people that they know, the biggest killers. And believe me, they're back in the, the press says, oh, they're not back in the battle. Believe me, folks, they're back in the battlefield, or they're going to be on really, and they want to kill everybody here, they want to kill everybody there. So we get this dirty, rotten, no-good traitor who 20 years ago would have been shot, who 40 years ago they would have done it within the first hour, and who now might not, and maybe nothing's going to happen. Don't forget, with Bergdahl, we lost at least 5 people, and I've watched the parents on television. I've seen the parents. I met one of the parents who's devastated, ruined, destroyed. And they were killed going out to try and bring him back. And they had lost 5 people, probably 6, by the way, but at least 5 people. And we knew that he was a traitor because we had a colonel and a general go and do the interviews before we made the deal. And everybody in the platoon, everybody was saying, he walked off, he's a traitor. And they said he's a whack job. But we made this deal knowing. Now, I would have said, oh, really, he's a traitor? Pass, let him have him, he's got him. Frankly, I would take that son of a bitch, I'd fly him back and drop him right over the top. I'm telling you. So we're going to win on trade because I told you I'm going to get the best people. And we're not going to have Ford move to Mexico as an example. Hey, again, I love Mexico. I love Mexican people. They're great people. I have thousands of Hispanics who work for me. In Nevada, just recently, they did a poll of Hispanics. I win. Because the people that are here legally don't want people coming in and taking their jobs. I win with Hispanics. So I'm going to win with African Americans because they're smart and they want jobs. And we're taking those jobs back from China and back from all these countries. And we're going to make more cars in this country. And we're going to do a lot of things that we would never think of doing. We lost in this country millions and millions of jobs to these people. 55,000 factories and manufacturing plants. 55,000! Who would think that's even possible? We lost millions of jobs to stupid transactions where they take everything. You go to places in Iowa, you go to Newton, Iowa, you see what happened there. You go up to anywhere in New England. But you go to New Hampshire, you see what's happened up there. They've lost their businesses. All for nothing. All because we have people that don't understand what's going on. So, I'll give you one example. And I always like telling because it's such a great example. You know Nabisco is leaving Chicago. They're moving to Mexico, right? We're not going to eat any more Oreos. Don't eat any more Oreos. Nabisco is moving one of their biggest plants to Mexico. Why? How does that help us, folks? How does it help us? They'll make cookies. They'll sell them to us. No tax, no nothing, right? But the Ford plant to me is the greatest. Ford is going to build a $2.5 billion plant. They're going to make cars, trucks, and parts in Mexico. They're going to sell them all over, but they're going to sell them right through the border. No tax, no nothing. Many plants are going to be closed in the United States. You know what $2.5 billion is for a one-story building for a plant? That is one hell of a plant. So plants are closing all over the place. And by the way, the car industry is doing fine because, frankly, this is now when you get free money. Everybody's getting free money. That's sort of like a shot of scotch. They have your interest rates so low. Problem is, The only one that can have money are guys like me that don't need it. If you don't need the money, you can have as much as you want, and you'll pay 1.5% interest. If you need money and you're a great entrepreneur and everything's good, but you got to grow a business, the banks won't give you the money. Okay? They won't give you Dodd-Frank because the regulators run the banks. You know, when you see these guys, and they make far too much money, they make a fortune. They're heads of banks. They don't do anything. I've had guys tell me, we don't do things. I'll call up and ask for a reference to a friend of mine because I have a banker who's a friend. He'll say, Donald, we don't control it. The regulators are running the bank. What the hell are we doing? So we can't have people from this area and other areas that are vibrant and great. They can't open businesses. So we have things that are going to happen. I put in a tax plan. Larry Kudlow loves it. So many people. He's a great guy. So many people love my tax plan. We're lowering the taxes for the middle class. We're lowering them big league for business and the middle class, but we're lowering them big league for business. Right now, the United States is the highest taxed nation in the world. We are now corporate inversion. I don't know if anybody knows, but basically corporate inversion. Corporations are now moving out of the United States, and they're moving for two reasons. They can't get money back in because of the procedure and the tax and so many other reasons. So we have trillions of dollars, at least $2.5 trillion, outside. It's outside of they can't get their money back in. The Democrats agree it should come back in. The Republicans agree it should come back in. They've all agreed for years. They can't make a deal. And the reason they can't because they don't have any leadership at the top. So now what's happening is companies like Pfizer, great company, thousands and thousands, they're leaving. They're moving to Ireland. But companies that are moving, they're leaving. They're leaving. Thousands and thousands of jobs. And these great companies, you know, in the old days, you'd have people, they'd move here, they'd move to Florida from New York or so. Now, they'll leave here and they'll move to Europe or they'll move to Asia. And they'll move other places. It's a different world. And we can't compete because we have the highest taxes. So we will change all of that. We are going to make our economy so dynamic and so strong, and we're going to bring those jobs back from China. I love China, but we're going to bring them back from China. Even China can't believe they're getting away with it. And they get away with it because what they do with their currency is unbelievable. They devalue their currency. They're like maestros, the greatest ever. Japan also. You know the story, a friend of mine with the Caterpillar tractors, always bought Caterpillars. He's an excavator. And he buys now Komatsu. He said, you can't compete with what they've done to the yen. They've so devalued the yen. Look at what's happened to Caterpillar stock. And I predicted this a year ago when my friend told me, he said, you couldn't compete. And he's always bought, his whole life, he's bought Caterpillar tractors. I said, are they better? He says, yeah, they're better a little bit. But I had an obligation to my family, to my company, to my employees. I got to do it. So he goes out and he buys from Japan tractors instead of Caterpillar. They are the greatest people for playing around with their currency. The greatest that there's ever been. And the greatest of all is China. You know, if you want to do a deal with China, you've got to suffer. When they do deals with us, they come right in. There's no taxes. You do deals with China, there is a tax. Nobody, they call it tariff. But there's big taxes. It's very hard to do. That's why we're going to lose this year on a trade deficit with China $505 billion. $505 billion. We're going to lose that. $505 billion. And by the way, I don't like this mic. Whoever the hell bought this mic system, don't pay the son of a bitch to put it in, I'll tell you. These people. No, this mic is terrible. Stupid mic keeps popping. Do you hear that, George? Don't pay him. Don't pay him. You know, I believe in paying. But when somebody does a bad job, like this stupid mic, you shouldn't pay the bastard. Terrible. Terrible. It's true. And you got to be tough with your people because they'll pay. They don't care. They'll pay. So we're not going to pay. I guarantee you I'm not paying for this mic. Every 2 minutes I hear like boom, boom. Anyway, I hope it's okay for you out there, but it really is. Boy, you are real. Look at that. Look up there. It's packed up to the rafters. Man. Holy mackerel. That is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable place. So we're going to, very simply, and I tell the story and I tell what we're doing. So Ford goes to Mexico, right? They're going to announce and they're going to build a big plan. And I tell this all the time, and I could tell different ones, but it's so descriptive. If Jeb or Marco or Ted or Hillary or Bernie, if they're president, they're not going to do anything about it. And if they wanted to, because they know the deal's no good, their lobbyists will come to them. You know, Hillary, you can't do that, Madam President, because so-and-so gave you $5 million and he owns a lot of stock in Ford. You can't do that. Or the head or Ford or whatever. Lobbyist, special interest. With me, it's real simple. I don't care. I'm going to do what's right for you and you. I'm going to do what's right for you. So here's what happens. They call Hillary, and they say, Madam President, Ford, this and that. Oh, no, I don't like the deal. You know, not stupid. I don't like the deal. Well, you can't do anything because these people all contributed to your campaign. They gave you $5 million. Oh, boy. I wish I did. No. Well, okay. Let them build it. Okay? Here's what happens to me. They come to me because they know these people. And they're smart and they're tough. But they're not tough like us. Believe me, they're not tough. So they'll come to me and they'll say, Mr. President, President Trump. They'll say, President Trump, it's really right. You should allow it. It's good for neighbors. It's good. Even though Mexico, by the way, is making a fortune. You talk about a trade deficit. And I'm not including all the drugs that pour across, okay? You could probably double it up. They go right through the wall. And by the way, we will build a wall. We will build a wall. We will build a wall. It's enough. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay? They're going to pay for the wall. Now, the politicians come up, and some of them are actually nice people. They come up to me and they say, Donald, you can't have Mexico. They have no clue. They don't understand. They say, you can't have Mexico. Why do you say that? And I say, you don't understand. They're going to pay. They make so much money. The wall is peanuts. They're going to pay. One way or the other, mark my words, Mexico will pay for the wall, and it's going to be a real wall. See that ceiling up there? It's going to be a real wall. It's going to be a real wall. It's not going to be one of these walls where they actually, do you ever see it in Time Magazine or one of the magazines? They have a ramp, little ramp. They drive a truck up, down. The wall's like this tall. They show them, it's a picture in a magazine. They drive trucks over, loaded up with drugs and things. They drive them over, they come back. We get the drugs, they get the cash. Not a good deal, right? Not a good deal. And what we're doing, you know, in New Hampshire, they have a tremendous problem. You wouldn't think that. And we're going to end it. We're going to end that. We're going to stop it. We're going to make our country so strong. You can't do that when you have drug addiction all over the place because it's so cheap and so you can't do it. And these politicians won't stop. So they say, how are you going to do it? So Mexico's going to pay 100%. Mexico took from Tennessee, a great state. They had a car company, a foreign car company. They were all set to make a deal. And all of a sudden, they're going to Mexico now. And you know what I say? I say, not going to happen that way anymore. So they now come to President Trump and they say, Mr. President, you have to let us build. This is very embarrassing. You have to let us build. They say, no. Why is it good? They'll try and explain. After about 2 seconds, I'll say, it doesn't work. I'll say, here's what it is. And I'll tell this to the president of Ford or whoever the hell wants to represent them. You will build in the United States, but we are going to tax you 35% every time you send a truck, a car, or a part over here. We're going to build. We're going to charge you 35% anytime you want to build your car in Mexico and send it over like we're a bunch of stupid people, like our former representatives. Not going to happen that way anymore. So, and here's what's going to happen. Mr. President, you're making a mistake. Please, we'll call you tomorrow. I said, you don't have to call me tomorrow. They'll call me tomorrow. I'll say, no, sorry, got to build over here. They'll say, Mr. President, we've decided to build our plant in the United States. Okay. And in this case, hopefully Michigan, because they've lost a lot of stuff, okay? So hopefully, you don't mind, do you? Can we give it to Michigan? I think so, right? So, Obamacare. We're going to, it's always, you know, I go to Dallas. We had an arena, the Mavericks arena, packed. Mark Cuban called, want to use the arena. I started selling on Thursday. By like Friday, the place was packed, and I had the event. Some of you were there. I had the event on Monday. I said, how the hell do you... We sold that thing out so fast. 20,000 people in Dallas, 35,000 people in Mobile, Alabama, 20,000 people in a park in Oklahoma, more than that, but 20,000 in a park in Oklahoma. You look at what happens in New Hampshire and Iowa and all of these places, South Carolina, we are doing numbers in South Carolina that's never been done before. We are doing, and you know what? The people are incredible people. They're really like you. You're from different states. You're from different areas. But the people are all the same. They want to see our country do well. They want to have strong borders. They want to have a strong military. They want to take care of our vets. We want to take care of our vets. So I had something the other day, and I thought it was great, and some people probably do. I read it the other night, first time ever, and it was done by Al Wilson, the late, great Al Wilson, right? Great singer. And I thought it was great. Do you mind if I put on the glasses? It's getting to that time. I never thought in my life I'd need glasses. I need glasses. Okay, you ready? Just listen to this. Al Wilson, great singer, died a few years ago. It's called The Snake Lyrics. Now this I consider to be the line on migration because, you know, the people that are coming in, you just talk to the folks over in Germany. I have friends over there, they can't believe. Europe is being destroyed. It's being destroyed. And Obama wants to bring not 10,000, not 25,000, not 65, which they talked about in the debate, by the way. He wants to bring so many that you have no, and we don't know who they are. And we all have a heart. And I'm all for doing some kind of a safe zone someplace in Syria, which they'd probably prefer. But this could be the great Trojan horse, right? This could be the great Trojan horse. This could be the real deal. And I want to do, but I want the Gulf states to pay. They have so much money. Saudi Arabia made $1 billion a day, and we're protecting. We got to pay. When we protect people, they got to reimburse us at least, okay? The money that we're losing. South Korea. I mean, every time I order 4,000 television sets, I order thousands of television sets a year for different projects, right? They all come out of South Korea. Samsung, LG, all of them. They're all made in, I mean, Sony's in Japan, but Sony a little bit lost its way in all fairness. They're no longer competitive. I don't know what the hell happened to Sony. But all of these sets, you don't make televisions in here anymore. We don't make, you go all over the United States, they don't make television. So South Korea, we have 28,000 soldiers on the line, 28,000. And you have the madman over here, North Korea, and every week he's talking about we're going to send more nukes. You know, at some point, hey, by the way, we made a terrible deal with Iran. But remember this, and I said we shouldn't go and attack Iraq, and that was in 2003, 2004, and I should be given credit for vision, and I'm more militaristic than anybody in this room. And I said, don't do it. You'll absolutely ruin the balance of the Middle East. And that's what happened. So now what happens? Iran makes a deal, plus, they take over Iraq. So not only did they make a great deal, I thought that was one of the greatest deals I've ever seen. The greatest deal I've ever seen is they also got Iraq, second largest oil reserves in the world. Iran has it. And now you look at, they're going to have Syria, they're going to have Yemen, they're going to have everything. And they're going into Saudi Arabia. As soon as I saw the embassy burning, I said, that's Iraq. They're rich now, they're powerful, they're tough. You saw those poor guys today on the boat, the way that guy was shouting at him, the thug. And for us, you know, the apology, we're sorry, and they're down on their knees. I just hated to see that for our country. Okay, just remember that. We got them back, but remember, I told you before, we only got them back because they haven't gotten their money. If this would have taken place in 2 weeks from now, you wouldn't have gotten it back. Because they're smart. Let them go and pick up $150 billion. So where I thought about this, and I think it's an amazing thing, actually, because it's life. We don't know what we're getting. They're not at all, under no circumstances are these people, if you look at it, they're not vetted. Nobody has papers. Nobody has anything. They're just putting people in. So I wanted to read this because I look at this, and perhaps you can look at it toward the migration. Ready? By Al Wilson. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, A tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin